How's it going, guys? For your viewing pleasure today, what you'll be seeing is a breakdown and review of a special weapon in the game of Destiny called the Icebreaker. It's an exotic sniper rifle, and it can be acquired through random drops in the Crucible, Nightfall Strikes, or from the raid. A fourth option as of October 12th, which isn't really going to do you any good in the future because by the time I post this, he'll be gone. But you can personally buy it off of Xur in the black market for 17 strange coins as of, well, this very second. I have the rough stats that I'll be breaking down on this gun. I got them from Destiny DB, so they might not be perfect, but I feel they're adequate enough to put out a good review on pros and cons to illustrate to you about that weapon. So let's start. The gun itself starts with a 260 base damage, which increases to 300 once you've completely upgraded the weapon. To upgrade it, what you'll need is Glimmer, weapon parts, and Ascendant Energy for sure. The last parts that you'll need, whether it be Relic Iron, Spirit Bloom, or Spin Metal or something of that sort, obviously come from one of the 4 planets, and you'll need varying amounts. You might need 8 for the first upgrade and then 16 for the later upgrades, or maybe just 16 for all of them. I'm not completely sure, but you will need the first 3 for sure. You might need some variant from one of the 4 planets as the last form of upgrade. I'm not sure which ones. What's interesting about this weapon here is it comes with solar damage, and that can't be changed. It's always just solar damage, which is nice because when you're dealing with, say, certain enemies, like the first one coming to mind is the Hive Witches. That can pretty much one-hit a lot of them if they're not a higher level, which is fantastic. God, I hate witches. But what's even more interesting about the Icebreaker is this weapon cannot be reloaded. It doesn't even have a reload animation. But the good news is it regens its own ammo over time. There's pros and cons to this, though. The cons being that if you want to quickly reload your weapon again, you can't reuse ammo synthesis. They don't work. And on top of that, you can't actually get them from the boxes for the special weapon boxes in the Crucible either. So the bad news is you're going to have to wait out the weapon regenerating its own ammo over time. The good news being that it regenerates ammo per round usually pretty quickly, and on top of that, you can use this to regen special ammo and then switch to another sniper rifle or a fusion rifle once it's done that. So you have a limitless supply of special ammo on the go as long as you take your time and let it regen. With regard to the stats, the fire rate is 19, which is about what you'd expect for a sniper rifle. An impact rating of 25%, which is quite high. That's the damage per round. A range maxed out at 100. A stability rating of only 24, so it's got some kick. A reload percent of 62, which is quite, well, that's the regen in terms, because it doesn't have a reload animation like I said. And a magazine size of 6, which is pretty good for a sniper rifle. In terms of PvP damage output, it's a 1-shot headshot and 2-shot body shot sniper rifle. With regard to the skill tree, because it's an exotic and there's no variation among exotics, you have options of 3 ballistic changes. Many here offer to improve range, but since it's already maxed out, I tend to stick with one that doesn't really worry about range an awful lot. Accurized ballistics is a pretty decent choice. With regard to breaking down the skill tree, but again, like I said, the previous ones are subjective, up to you. With regard to breaking down the skill tree, though, one of the more important perks is called Mulligan, which has a chance to return a missed shot back into the magazine. And since, like I said, the magazine's only 6, every shot counts. The next 3 perks give you a choice between improved weapon draw speed, increased weapon aiming speed, and increased range and accuracy. Since the range is already maxed, and the accuracy, as long as you're a good shot, don't really matter much here, usually my choice would be weapon aiming speed, because that way if you take it to, say, the Crucible, you can mix and match your ranges between medium and short with that increased aiming speed, so that helps. That's my choice, but again, it's up to you. The keystone perk of Icebreaker, as you might expect, is called Icebreaker. It causes victims to spontaneously combust, causing damages nearby. This is much more helpful in PvE than PvP. Because it's very good for crowd control. And there's 5 more perks, and they're all damage upgrades. So that rounds that out. With regard to my overall impressions of the weapon, I believe this is quite possibly the best sniper rifle in the game for many reasons. The range is as high as it goes. The extreme impact or damage per shot allows for extreme damage to enemies if you hit their critical spots. And of course, you never really have to worry about running out of ammo, like I said. Just relax, take your time, and within a few seconds you'll have some more rounds at your disposal. I particularly use this sniper rifle when facing Atheon in the Vault of Glass because of that extremely high impact. Every shot is extreme damage, and it counts so much more when you hit his critical spot. If you add in the perk Snapshot, and in PvE, you have incredible aiming speed. The perk Icebreaker, like I said earlier, does an extremely good job of crowd control in PvE. So those are the pros that come with it. The only nitpick I can think of for this weapon are the low fire rate and low stability or high recoil. So you're going to want to stay back and take your time, because the low fire rate means that in the Crucible, if you were going to play aggressive recon sort of with this weapon, you better hit the guy's head, because your follow-up shot, if you're in medium range facing someone with an assault rifle, by the time you reload and get it, well, reload per se without the animation, and get it back on target, he might have the chance to completely take you out. That and the high recoil means you're definitely going to have to account for multiple targets. If you're engaging multiple targets, you're definitely going to have to account for that recoil in a bit. But again, if you're further back, you're taking your time, and you're being patient and aiming for critical spots on the enemy, it's not a huge concern. And with the stats above that I listed, you're dealing with a monster. The only other sniper rifle that I would probably choose in PvP is the one that you get in the raid. I believe the name of it actually here is Praetus Revenge. That's the only one I consider for PvP, just because that weapon has a much faster fire rate. But in terms of the overall damage output, you're definitely going to want the Icebreaker. Have a good one. See you.